The colors of the rainbow are pretty in the sky and also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn so much, more than I know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I'm going to talk again, and I have no idea why. Because he said it all, didn't he? Nice job, Mark. What a wonderful world, and it's something that we need to remember, especially these days because, well, the idiots are in charge, aren't they? And yet, to say that the idiot's in charge doesn't mean that they haven't been in charge before. The second story that we're going to talk about a little bit today is the Magi. The Magi come on the 12th day of Christmas. They arrive on the 12th day of Christmas. That's January 6th. So they're probably on their way home by now. It's an interesting story. If you think about it, I'm going to come up here, and I am going to assume we're kind of sitting cattywampus here. Is that a phrase that you guys all understand, cattywampus? But I think that would be east, and that would be west. I think. And well, Debbie, go over there. And Aaron, come over here. Please. Okay, we know that the wise men came from around Baghdad, Babylon. That's where you are. You're the wise men. And they saw the star rising in the east, right? Over there, right? And so they decided they were going to go follow the star, and they were going to follow the star to Bethlehem, which is there where Debbie is. So go. Get on your camel and ride, girl. That way. Go ahead.
This way to go that way?
Yeah, no, just go that way. You see what's happening here? The wise men weren't all that wise. You can go sit down now. They needed to stop at the nearest convenience store and ask for stupid directions because they went the wrong way. Now, we all think there were three, right? Three wise men. You know why we think there were three? Because there were three gifts that they brought. And the biggest way that we remember those three gifts is the song, you know. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star. You know, that one. So many things that this story gets just really screwed up. We only find that story in Matthew. Matthew is the most angry of the gospel writers. He is the one that was the most clearly Jewish and the one who was the most clearly angry. When Jesus unloaded on Pharisees and scribes, and the powers that be. It was often in Matthew. He took his material. He wasn't a witness to what Jesus did. He probably wasn't because of the timing of everything. But he was probably not a witness to it. But he took a lot of his information from the book of Mark, which was written by Mark, who was a disciple of Peter's. And then there was another source document that we don't know what that was. We call it Q. But for some reason, his was the only gospel that included the story of the Magi. What were Magi? Some people say magicians. Yeah, okay, that'll work. A clearer statement would be astrologers. You know, like I'm an Aries. Anybody else an Aries in here? Had a girl? Everybody all at once, tell me what your sign is. Got them all. But another way of thinking about it, they were the leading scientific minds of the day. 2,000 years ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson would have been an astrologer. And so they saw this star. It was in those names back then, the terms that they called it, Fravashi was what they would have called the star that indicated. Why the star was there and they followed it to there, I don't know, because it just hung there. It didn't move according to all the stories and everything. It didn't move, it didn't change, it just stayed there. It did not rotate like all the other stars did. It just stayed there and they went that way. Maybe they knew something that the rest of us didn't know. Well, probably. Herod, who was the idiot in charge at the time, heard that these astrologers were coming, the Magi were coming. And he was nervous about that. Now, the thing that makes me think that maybe there were a lot more than that, 3, is because he got nervous. I mean, why would he be nervous about 3 even bright scientific minds coming to recognize a pretend king in an off the beaten path town called Bethlehem? Why would that bother him? But what if it was 300 astrologers that were bringing lots of gold and lots of frankincense and lots of myrrh? That might make him nervous. They came and they worshiped, brought the gifts to the baby, and then they left. But they were warned in a dream, sort of like a spy novel. You know, somebody came in the middle of the night and said, hey, go home a different way because Herod's going to get you. And so, not unlike Venezuela, well, no, very much unlike Venezuela, they escaped and they went home by a different route. And the idiot that was in charge back then was foiled. Why is this an important story? Remember, it's true, but did it happen that way? Yeah. What do we learn from that story? What do we learn from that story? And in a second, I'm going to be able to put both of them together. We learn that for the first time, the child was recognized outside of the Jewish culture. There were always messiahs that were rising up and fading away. Every generation had its own share of messiahs. But this one was more important in so much as the fact that showing up were people from an entirely different culture. These were honchos. These were big people. These were important folks who came and said, this child is going to change things somehow or another. This child. These were not, this is like Packer fans coming and saying, well, your quarterback's going to be good. It's going to change the world. It's like a Mexican being recognized as somebody who has value and worth in the ICE troops. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. What that indicates is that Jesus just didn't come for those people in the Jewish sliver of land, for these people that were over here in Bethlehem. Jesus came even for the people coming out of Baghdad, even for the people coming out of Baghdad. Now, what did they look like? They looked a lot like Jesus. Who did they worship? Well, they didn't worship Jesus, and they didn't worship Yahweh, that we're not supposed to say anyway. And they didn't look like us. They didn't look like me. They didn't look, even those of us who are darker colored, they didn't look like them either. There was someplace in the middle, someplace different from everything, and yet Jesus came for all of them. The first time that anybody recognized that there was going to be something going on that was more special than they had ever experienced before. How does that tie into a baptism? How does that tie into Jesus getting dunked by his cousin and then a bird landing on his head saying, "This is my son"? How does that fit together? Oh, I can tell you. Because I can tell you. Who are we supposed to tell? Who are you supposed to tell? Are you supposed to tell people who look like me? Are you supposed to tell people who just look like you? Are you supposed to tell people who just look like you? No. You're supposed to tell everybody. Jesus didn't come just for the chosen few, for the ones who were set aside or set apart. Holy means set aside, set apart. Sacred means set apart like that. Those aren't the people that Jesus came for. There was a church along the river in Peoria that used to have up on its side, it said, "The church is not a haven for saints, but a hospital for sinners." That's what we are. Because we're broken. But we also know where the healing is, right? I'm not saying that we're going to be able to heal a broken bone or we're going to be able to heal kidney problem or something like that. That's not what happens here. What happens here is that we get our hearts healed. We get our spirits healed. We learn here to put aside all that other stuff and focus on who it is who is saying to us, "You're my child. You are my child. Now I want you to go and live like my child." To whomever it is that you're living with, to whomever it is that you see. It doesn't make any difference what kind of name they give me, what kind of language they use, because you know those wise men were not speaking the same language as Mary and Joseph. It doesn't make any difference because I am here for all of you, for each and every one of you. Now let me ask. I'm going to use yours for a second. How many of you have screwed up in the last week? I'm trying to see if anybody didn't raise their hand, and I'm going to go hit my knees and say, "Lord, Lord." How many of you have been forgiven in the last week? How many of you know people who need to be forgiven for stuff that's happened in the last week? how are they going to know that they need to be forgiven, or that they have been forgiven, or that God has forgiven them, or that you have forgiven them? How's that going to happen? Do you always have to go up to them and say, I forgive you? That helps. But there's more to it than that. Stand up. I am going to need to be forgiven for this.
Twice in one worship service.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Thank you. I'm in so much trouble. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jesus was claimed by God. You are claimed by God to do something. Jesus had work to do. You have work to do. Now, what's the work? None of us know. None of us know because it's you, not me, not somebody else. It's you. And who is the work going to be for? Who is the work going to be aimed at? Who is the work going to be pointed towards? It's going to be who knows, and it doesn't matter. A drunk, a homeless person, somebody with a lot of money, maybe even prayers for the idiots who are running the world. Maybe, oh gosh, that just seems hard for me to consider. But maybe that's where it happens. Maybe that's what it does. Prayers, you understand, that's not just you talking to God and telling God what you want in your little basket of goodies that God brings around every once in a while. Prayers are you listening to God and God saying to you, this is what I want you to do. This is where I want you to be my hands and my feet. That's the bottom line. The wise men came to show us that Jesus is for everybody. And God came to claim you. Pray with me. Help us, Lord, hear your voice when you claim us. Help us, Lord, recognize our tasks when they arise, the opportunities that we have to be you to the rest of your children. Help us, Lord. And as much as is possible, help us stay safe from the people who would do us harm. Amen.
Our closing song will be The Jesus in Me, number 185. Is that what it says? Okay, good. We're on the right track. Twice. Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. So easy. So easy. So easy. So easy to love. One more time, because it's too short. Jazz it up a little bit. The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. So easy. So easy. So easy. Is it a love?
Thank you, Ling. Okay, the Jesus in me, the Jesus in you. You know how they say it for Hindus, right? Namaste.
Namaste.
Go ahead. Namaste.
Namaste.
Go in peace, go in grace. You have work to do. You have stuff to do. But remember, we go with you, and so does God. Amen.
Amen.